Well. What is up, guys? And welcome to the Walker Reacts to Madden 23. Yes, Madden 23, which is right around the corner on my birthday. Shout out to EA for doing that for us. But I'm going to react to some of the ratings that I'm seeing online. They are the official ratings of this game, and they're releasing them. So I'm going to start off with the cornerbacks because it's really not that interesting because, like, when you look at it, a lot of the top 10 cornerbacks didn't really play. Like, Jair didn't play. Jair Alexander, Tre'Davious White, Gilmore switched teams. Marlon Humphrey was injured. So those guys ended up getting injured. So it's hard to be like this and that with those ratings. So I understand that they kind of keep them like that. Unless they go back-to-back years of just being injured and just ending up being an injury-prone player who can't play a full season. I do think those players, like, if these players don't come back this year and play good, that's where you have to drop the ratings big time. So this is going to be important. Remember, I said that because there's a position I'm going to come up to, which I want to talk about the most. I'll get to it when I get there, okay? But anyways, the only one I would probably say is Xavier Howard. Didn't he kind of ball out? Interesting. I guess he'd probably be at 89 as well. 88, 89. The one thing you also need to remember as well is a lot of these players will basically stay the same overall from each Madden. Now, again, the big thing about Denzel Ward compared to all these other top cornerbacks is he was actually I believe he was the only 90 plus cornerback that didn't have abilities in the base game, which I'm not a huge fan that abilities takes over the game and makes a player good or bad, because acrobat and these other abilities just take over and they make players good. So, but Gilmore did go down a lot, which is very good. I think that is good. But the abilities, hopefully, for Ward will be there. If he's not again, he's again another useless cornerback. Unless they tweak the gameplay where abilities isn't the main thing. Like, stats should matter. But for this game, for Madden, they don't really matter as much because they have abilities, which abilities is kind of like a lazier form of making a game unique, where stats should matter. Each individual stat should actually matter in the core gameplay. But that's not the case, okay? With that being said, we're just going to go on to the next one. I mean, Xavier Howard is probably the argument here. So the top 10 wide receivers off this view, I'm going to say one thing and one thing only. They love Tyreek Hill. Number 2, Justin Jefferson should be higher. Number 3, that's kind of like my main things. Amari Cooper being on there's kind of interesting. I mean, people's argument can be Jamar Chase. The one thing I will say, he did have a phenomenal year. So I guess you could throw him up there because, I mean, it's year-to-year ratings. It doesn't really matter how many years, right? If you have a good season, your rating should go up. If you have a bad season, your rating should go down. So I would like to see Justin Jefferson. I truly think that Justin Jefferson last year was, he was probably in the argument for top wide receiver, right? That's probably one of the bigger things. I mean, these two make sense. They dominated Cooper Kupp in them. Tyreek Hill. Don't get me wrong. I know everyone loves him. I'm not the hugest Tyreek Hill fan just because it's like, I'll just take Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? Wide receivers, though, a lot of people were hating on Terry McLaurin. It's not his fault. He's on the Washington football team. If you guys watch this man play, phenomenal. Why do I have the mic in front of my... Phenomenal, okay? Phenomenal. I would love to see him on a different team. Yes, absolutely. But, yeah, the one thing I will say... Wide receivers in EA, all they care about is speed. So, yeah, just look at Tyreek Hill being the number 1. Okay, this is where I will talk about it because we're here. They need to make stats matter. These route runnings need to actually matter. When you just run these certain routes for Devontae Adams, instead of, him barely getting separation and needing abilities, he should realistically, against some random cornerback, should be able to get some separation and be able to put in work, especially in the deep routes as well. He is a deep threat as well. He can go deep downfield. His 90 speed just makes him useless deep downfield. That's the big thing I've noticed with the game is it's just, you just, Tyreek Hill, you just run him straight line. Like Waddle, run him a straight line. That he just beat it. They just beat it no matter what. Doesn't even need to be a post. It's just straight line. Just beat it. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a huge issue going forward. I haven't played the beta or anything, so I don't know how it's going to be. It's going to be fresh. Wide receiver stats need to matter. I was going to save this for last. This is a quite interesting ratings, in my opinion. And don't get me wrong, as a running back, I know injuries happen. But my boy Christian McCaffrey's still top 2. What? Don't get me wrong. I think he's a solid player, but he's had 2 good seasons out of 5. 5. And those 2 seasons, it's been in 2019 was his last good season. I don't know what the obsession is with him. And don't get me wrong, I think this year he should have a way lower rating and he needs to prove himself. Okay, I understand injuries. Yes, I understand it. I feel like that should knock you off a bit. Realistically, I think Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry are 1 and 2. And I know Jonathan Taylor is young and yada, yada, 2 years, but he's been phenomenal. If you actually watch him, he's clearly that top running back. He's pretty, just everything about him. Colts fans know how nasty he is. So that's like the one thing I would say. I know Nick Chubb was getting some hate. I personally would probably give JT because I would give him a higher rating than Chubb, but I do think Chubb is phenomenal with that Browns team. He's putting up the numbers. I'm fine with these guys. I think this should be the top 3, and Christian McCaffrey, should be a lot lower. I do think Austin Eckler after last year should be higher than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is solid, but Austin Eckler just had a great year last year. He's finally gotten the carries, and of course, that has to do with the whole Melvin Gordon stuff. Also not being injured, so that helps him out because 2020 was his first year without Melvin. So he's no longer splitting with Melvin, and he's shining. I personally would put him in 90. I would put him at 90. Joe Mixon, in my opinion, is not in a bad spot. I know a lot of people had issues with Dalvin Cook's ratings, but if you look at him, every single year he's been phenomenal. Now, he has had the injuries, but he hasn't been like Christian McCaffrey where he misses the entire season, right? And plus, they just haven't been a good team. So I think that's fine. Alvin Kamara, people are saying this, that. Alvin Kamara's, teams have to look into him and make sure they shadow him a lot. Know where he is on the field at all times. So that anyone saying anything about that, he's phenomenal. He can make plays. He's your playmaker. The only issue I think is Zeke. Zeke being top 10. Tony Pollard definitely had a better year last year. Now, this isn't going to be a hate towards him, but I think they're a really good combo because Tony Pollard is a slimmer running back, and then you got the bulldozer Zeke in there to help out. So they accommodate each other very, very nicely, but I don't think he's top 10. Let me actually look this up. Who is top 10? You know, while we're here, let me just pop this. I do think JT after last year. The reason why I won't say JT's number 1 is just because Derrick Henry did get hurt, and what Derrick Henry was doing. Where is Derrick Henry? He was like top 5 in yards for like the longest time, and he wasn't even playing for like 5 weeks, which is incredible. Top 10 in yards, and he played 8 games. That is very, very impressive. And you guys need to understand that. That is 219 carries in 8 games. So everyone can be like, oh, he only averaged 4 yards a carry. That is so many carries. The amount of banging up that happens, I'm telling you right now, I played running back. No chance I have that many. That is a lot of durability, and that needs to put into account of how nasty that is what he did, okay? Teams knew he was going to run, and he averaged 117 yards a game. So, yeah. Other than that, Najee Harris, I'd just like to see Najee Harris get over that 4 yards a carry. They aren't really a run team, so he did a pretty good job for that team as well. Looking at anything else, the rookies are going to be big. We'll see how the rookies do this coming year with, Williams as well. See how he comes. Overall, it's going to be an interesting year. AJ Dillon, I feel like he doesn't really get much love, but phenomenal 1-2 punch on that team. So safeties is a very interesting. Antonio Winfield, I did see his overall did go up. The safeties is very interesting. I saw both safeties combined. The ratings seem, they're pretty much the same. Jesse Bates, what he does for that team is incredible. Micah Hyde, I feel like, he did get a 2 overall boost. He had the Bills safeties were a lot of their success as well. Those 2 did phenomenal. There's not much else to say. The safety position, I feel like, is a very interesting position in this game because they don't really get many abilities, right? So, yeah, we'll see how they go with the abilities. I don't think you could see any abilities or anything right now. I know a lot of people are hating on Harrison Smith, but I feel like he's still does very, very good. A lot of people don't really like to show love to the teams that aren't that good. And a lot of people want to hate on Jamal Adams as well. He's doing things that he shouldn't be doing, and it hurts him, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he's still a solid safety, right? I would actually like to see Poyer go up a little bit because he actually was all NFL first team. That's probably what I would say for sure. Huh. Interesting, huh? I'd like to see him a little bit higher. I mean, again, their success, they played great. So I would definitely like to see him a little bit higher, a little bit more love, because again, he's going to be one of those players that is definitely a lot slower than these other guys, and they won't be used as much because, yeah. So, other than that, I mean, be very interesting to see how CJ plays with Tyron. So Tyron's probably going to be roaming a whole lot, which will be interesting to see. I think it's going to be huge for CJ. So we'll see how those two work on the Saints. I do like Tyron a lot, and hopefully he balls out for the Saints. Okay, so Jimmy Ward did pretty good last year. Again, I would love to see more updates for this game rating-wise. How cool would it be if they kept constantly updating it overall-wise instead of batches? Because last year we waited so long to get JT his abilities, even though he was in the MVP race. Like, hopefully we see a little bit more attention to the actual core base of the game, and I feel like that is what needs to be fixed. I'm gonna actually end it there. Cornerbacks, we went safeties, and we went running backs, and we went wide receivers. I feel like those are like the most important positions, just to see what they're like and all this and all that. I'm gonna end it there. Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, the running back one kind of tricked me a little bit. CMC, hey, I need you to prove yourself this year, okay, buddy? All right? Because these other running backs and these young running backs have been very, very good. So, yeah, if he doesn't do good this year, I think you got to drop him. And I think you drop him out of top 10. That's all I'm saying. That being said, guys, hope you guys enjoy. Wait, the 99 club. Let me show you guys the 99 club so far. Myles Garrett, Devontae Adams, and Aaron Donald. A lot of people were had an issue with Aaron Donald. Like, he's literally one of the most dominant players in this time period. Like, he's absolutely unreal. So I'm fine with that. Devontae Adams as well. Like, those guys I'm fine with. But yeah, with that being said, guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.